I want to talk about something that I have been very, very passionate about all day long. In addition to Roy Moore, is this shooting that occurred in Mesa, Arizona, where the police officer was acquitted of second-degree murder. I have had a balance of perspective from multiple different people that support me and that care about me, and people that don't like me. They all have opinions, which I'm cool with it. And I even did a show earlier on my Facebook page. I did it live, and I let people come on and describe to me if they could articulate how that wasn't a justified shooting. In 1 second, just give us a minute, because I'm going to preface it first before we do the video. So I'm going to play the video of the shooting. We're going to omit the actual shooting part, because I know some people don't want to see it. Some people don't like looking at people getting killed. I understand. I'm not judging you. It's whatever. Viewer discretion is advised. We're going to play the video, and I'm going to walk you through it step by step on what police think, the protocol. I'm going to tell you why I think the shooting was justified, although I believe that there could have been tactical things that they could have done differently that would have mitigated the opportunity for someone to end up being killed in this situation that could have been avoidable. So I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to look at the video, and at the point where the person is going to get shot, we're going to pause the video and stop the video. The first shot may ring out before we can stop it, but you will not see the person get struck by the bullet, and you will not see the aftermath of the person getting shot to death. So we're going to play the video, and I'm going to walk you through it as a person who worked 6 years in law enforcement, and I was also a SWAT operator. Go ahead and roll it. So obviously this video is public record. So
right Stop! Get on the ground, both of you.
Okay, just pause it right here. So what we're looking at is that these officers were dispatched to a call reference a man possibly pointing a rifle out of a window at a hotel. People at the pool had suggested that this happened. Police responded accordingly. In any situation like this, the police officers, the police department have to take these accusations seriously. If someone claims that a person is utilizing or carrying or brandishing a rifle, you have to take that accusation seriously. You cannot go into a situation where you say, well, it may be a pellet gun, so let's utilize it and think that it's a pellet gun, and then we're going to go up there and act like that. And then he pull a rifle and everybody's dead. That cannot happen. That will not happen in law enforcement. So they have to treat this as if there's a man pointing a rifle out of the window of a hotel. It is invaluable that they do that and that they treat it that way. So as a police officer myself, when you have that put out there over the radio, you have to be prepared. And the thought crosses your mind that this could be my last day. If this man comes out, this could be some mass murderer. This can be somebody dodging the law. I don't know if he's wanted from another country. I don't know if he's wanted from within the United States. I don't know if this is an ambush that's being set up to kill us. We don't know what it is, but we need to respond with vigilance. So the first part of the clip, we can put the clip back on. The first part of the clip, I can give you some context. They had been demanding that the people in the specific room come out for 5 minutes before any of this happened. They had been telling them, occupants in a certain unit, come out with your hands up. They gave them verbal commands. Police protocol is that you can give, or you should give, verbal commands in a situation like this. They have met threshold number 1. Now, based on the firearms, based on what's going on, it's appeared to be a tactical team. It could be a SWAT team, or it could be a group of officers that are tactically sound and they're approaching this with reasonable tactics. Based on the information I know, you have several people in a hallway. One huge issue that I think people are missing is that the person whose body cam is being shown, who is holding a gun, is not the same person who's giving verbal commands. Based on witness testimony in the court of law, which I saw, was that the sergeant was giving the commands, and the person that we see in the camera was just listening to what the sergeant was saying and acting accordingly. This is why the person who's on point does not give commands. First of all, if you don't give commands and you don't get on the radio, that's what we were trained. because you need to be focused on the threat in front of you. There is no way in the world that you can hold your platform, unless you're in life or death situations, that you can hold your platform and keep your eyes on a person's waistband and make sure they're not brandishing or pulling out a weapon and be trying to tell them what to do and what not to do. Because at the moment where they do what you told them not to do, you become distracted and you may miss a shot or you may not see them pull out a gun. So in a tactical situation, you have people on point and you have one guy that's designated or one gal that's designated to give verbal commands. That person is literally communicating with the person who they're talking to in order for everybody to be freed to make tactical reactions or tactical actions ahead of time. So let's finish watching it.
Lay down on the ground. Lay down on the ground.
Who else is in the room?
Nobody.
Nobody else is in the room?
Nobody.
Are you positive?
Nobody. Absolutely positive.
Okay. Since apparently we have a failure for you to comprehend simple instructions, I'm going to go over some of them again, okay? Can you both hear and understand me?
Yes.
All right. If you make a mistake, another mistake, there is a very severe possibility you're both going to get shot. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, pause.
Shut up.
Okay, so as you can tell, they had been not listening to the police officers as they demanded them to come out of the room. They finally come out. They tell them to get on the ground. The young lady didn't get on the ground immediately. It took her a while. She almost got to where the operator was at before she actually started listening to the commands. The one guy started listening right away. But you have to understand that at this point in time, when somebody's not coming to the door for 5 minutes, you begin to wonder what is going on. Why? If these people are innocent and these people aren't doing anything criminal, they don't have a rifle pointing at people and they can be a deadly threat, why are they not just coming to the door when we make commands? Now the heightened suspicion goes up. And then all of a sudden, boom, they come out of the door. Now you have to react and you have to set the record straight that it's not a game. There's no more playing. There's no more not listening to commands, because people die when you don't listen to commands, whether it be the police officers or whether it be the people who are receiving the commands. So they finally tell them in a calm voice, listen to us. If you do not listen to us and you disobey our commands, there's a possibility that you can end up getting shot at the end of this. That is very, very reasonable. And the person who shot wasn't the person who even said this. So let's keep moving forward.
I'm not here to be tactful or diplomatic with you. You listen, you obey. For one thing, did I tell you to move, young man? Did I tell you to put both your hands on the top of your head and interlace your fingers? Take your feet and cross your left foot over your right foot. Who else is in the room?
Nobody.
All right, stand by. We have contact. All right. Are you both drunk?
No.
All right, pause it. Now, we will have to play a little bit more of it, but he just asked him, are you both drunk? And he said no. Now, it really doesn't matter, because as a police officer, you have to be able to assess those things. So people lie to you, obviously. They lie to you. They say, well, there's no more people in the house. You cannot believe them at face value. You can get a kind of an adjustment to figure out there may be or may not be people in the house, how we need to respond. If they say, yes, 10 other people, then we know for a fact we need to get more people up here to address the issue. If they say none, then we never believe that. Because if there is somebody, you die if you believe there's nobody in there. So they're taking an assessment. They're asking them, are they intoxicated and drunk? The kid, from what I heard, y'all watching it, he said no, that he's not drunk. Keep going.
So you're not going to have any problems understanding anything that I tell you, right?
Great.
All right.
Can I go to my room?
No, you're not going to do anything but come towards us. Young man, you're not to move. You're to put your eyes down and look down at the carpet. You're to keep your fingers interlaced behind your head. You're to keep your feet crossed. If you move, we're going to consider that a threat. and we are going to deal with it, and you may not survive it. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Young lady, shut up and listen. Right? You are to keep your feet crossed. Take both of your hands, put them flat in front of you. You are to push yourself up to a kneeling position.
All right, pause the video.
Kneeling position.
Now, what we've heard so far sounds like clear, methodical instructions. He asked them, do you understand? Do you have any complications with what I'm telling you? They said no. He told them very firmly, I want you to shut your mouth and I want you to listen to me. If you do not listen to me carefully, if you do something I'll tell you not to do, it could result in you becoming a potential threat and you may not survive this. How many times did this man, this police officer, have to tell them before they believe him? Everybody needs to watch this and understand that forget what the media is telling you. You are listening to him give them clear, concise instructions. Keep going.
Position. Now, put both your hands in the air. Okay, crawl towards us.
I'm so sorry.
She's crawling. They can hear me.
Okay. Stop.
Now she crawled over to them. She's complying
Cuff, grab, pull.
with no issues. Now let's see what the next gentleman does.
Rich, pull
Pull.
this
Rich,
way.
Pull. Let me know when you're clear. Clear?
All right, pause it
No,
real
you're
quick.
not clear. You're Krister yet.
I want to address one tactic that I think that people should be aware of, because I've seen people question several times, why didn't they just go to the person? Why did they call them back? Okay, that is police training. Listen to me. You do not enter the unknown trying to handcuff people. That is not smart at all. Because if there is somebody in the room with the rifle and you walk up and you trying to handcuff people and they mow you and your partners down, that is not a smart situation, right? You want to get people thinking. You want to get them thinking. You want to get them moving. You want to get them their attention divided, so that if they have a plan to devise something, they have a responsibility to think of all that other stuff on top of trying to think of how to get out of the situation, which push them off of the mark. If they can sit there and think about what they're going to do to the police officer, that is not good. That's why you give commands, and that's why you give them instruction, because you need their mind to be moving in the direction that you want them to move, instead of them thinking about killing you. You want them moving, you want them mobile, but you want to have an advantage. If there's not an advantage of you moving to them, there's an advantage when they move to you. You control the situation, you control the speed, you control what direction they go. The young lady followed directions. Nobody got hurt. People are saying that this officer is a killer and he's just such a bad person. First of all, make sure you know that the one talking is not the one shooting. If the man was a murderer, he just shot her a long time ago. He just shot the other guy a long time ago. You have to understand that circumstances end up necessitating a poor, bad situation that end up resulting to the death of another person. Now, if he's following directions at this point, if he continue to follow directions, he live. We're going to see what else happened after this. Go ahead and roll it.
You're not. You'll be in the chain so we figure out exactly what's going on, okay? Just be cool and we'll be done.
Okay, when you're done with that, lay her flat. Okay, I need one more cuff rope. Okay. This is the deal. We're going to do almost like we did before. Okay? Have a seat.
He's providing
Young
clear
man,
instructions.
listen to my instructions and do not make a mistake. You are to keep your legs crossed. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
You are to put both of your hands palm down straight out in front of you. Push yourself up to a kneeling position. I said keep your legs crossed!
I'm sorry. I just pushed my...
I didn't say this in conversation. Put your hand in the air! Hands up in the air!
All right, stop it right there.
You do that.
Now, if this was a murdering, belligerent police officer, that man would have got shot right there. Because not only did he put his hands behind his back, when they said, put your hands in the air, he kept his hands behind his back. He even maneuvered his hands more while they were behind his back. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't get shot right there. But they were listening to him. They gave him opportunities to do the right thing. Then he listened. He put his hands in the air. Keep going.
Again, we're shooting you. Do you understand?
Please do not shoot me.
Then listen to my instruction.
I'm trying to just do what you
Don't talk. Listen. Hands straight up in the air. Do not put your hands down for any reason. You think you're going to fall, you better fall on your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Crawl towards me. Crawl towards me.
All right, stop the video. So remember this. The person who's shooting is not the person who's talking. So a lot of people were coming in their mind saying, this guy's crazy. This guy's crazy. The other guy's the one doing the talking. The man with the rifle is just posting up. You just happen to see his body camera. Now, this young man, let me say something about the police instructions, because in my department, I don't think we would have done it like that. I don't think it's advantageous to do all of that stuff right there. I think you can very easily simplify it, because what we would normally have people do is we would have them, if they're already standing, we may tell them to get to their knees. It really depends, to be quite honest. But if we want to have them maneuver, we're going to be consistent in what we do. We don't have people crawl, because if we're outside, we can't utilize that. You can't crawl on concrete unless it's extreme situation and we need you to hurry up and get out of a situation. We need you to crawl on concrete. Then we'll make you do that if we have to. But in a situation where we have control, you don't appear to be an aggressive person. You don't appear to be disobeying our commands willfully. Maybe you look like an idiot and you're just drunk. Then we may use a little different tactics. Typically, we will have you face away. You would never face us. You face away from us. Even if your palms are down and your face down, you face away from us. That is a tactical advantage, because it's hard for you to shoot us backwards when you're facing the other way. We can see your whole movement and we can react to you way faster. So typically we'll have you stand up with your hands behind your back. Or, I mean, not your hands behind your back. It really depends. Most of the time we have your hands in the air, not behind your back. We'll have your hands in the air. Another thing we do, depending on the situation, this is, like I said, it's all dynamic. So I'm not armchair quarterbacking. They may have felt like this was the best tactical advantage, but we typically have a person pull the bottom of their shirt, pull their shirt up from the top, pull it up in order to expose their waistband. And then we have them do a full circle around so we can see their waistband while they're way out there. Once we notice that they don't have a gun, to a certain degree, we can feel real sure that he's not going to pull anything from his waistband, him or her. Walk back to us at the sound of our voice with your hands in the air. They walk backwards. They go down to their knees at the point where we want them at so we can handcuff them. Now, here's another thing that we all need to really think about. One of the reasons why I think they had them on their knees instead of standing up is because if they were standing up, they decide to run back into the room to grab the rifle. Now you're in a crazy situation, because you're going to have to be forced to run after them. And then you're going to run yourself into the unknown. So I think we would have had them standing up, but in that tactical situation, I can definitely see why they had them on their knees. Now, why they had them walking towards them, that's another story. So keep rolling it. It's going to be very short because the shooting is going to commence.
I mean, basically here. Here, I'll show it.
Just show them anyway. We could stop it at the first one. Just long as you stop it fast. Okay, right there. Good job, Echo. You own it, boy. Right there. We don't want to show the rest. You can look at the rest we have it on my page. I have it on my page or whatever, so you can see the rest of it. We don't want to scare people about you watching somebody get shot 5 times with a 5.56. So he reaches back. At some point he's cooperating. Then he reaches back for God knows what. Somebody said he's trying to pull his pants down. Well, if you are crawling, what does it matter if your pants creep down just a little bit? Now, if you're walking, you'll fall if your pants fall down. But if you're crawling, unless your pants are around your kneecaps, it's not going to prevent you from crawling another 2 feet. So if you are sitting here right now thinking, why did he do that? Imagine a man with the gun sitting there wondering, what is he doing? He's been cooperative reasonably this whole time. We told him one time not to put his hands behind his back, and he did not do it. Then all of a sudden, when he's crawling, he get close to us and he reached back. What is he doing? You have to react first before he gets the gun. Now, one thing Echo said to me earlier, and I think it was a valuable point, is that the only reason that people are talking about this is because he didn't have a gun. Then the police officer don't know if he has a gun. The police officer need to beat him to his gun. That's why you have one person giving instructions, one person doing the shooting if necessary. This kid reached back and the officer had to use deadly force. By law, if you feel that there's a threat of serious bodily injury and or death to you, you can use deadly force against somebody. It's not that you kill them. It's not intended to kill somebody, but you can shoot them until the threat is eliminated, which means that they do not make any further movements towards that gun. Unfortunately, with a rifle, you pull the trigger 5 times in less than 2 seconds. Do the same with a handgun. A rifle is just a lot more lethal, depending on where you place the shots. But that's some things that we have to realize when we look at this. The reason why I initially said this is justified, I'm not saying this was pretty. I'm not saying that there wasn't a better way to handle this. What I'm saying is that in the court of law, for second-degree murder is intentional shooting somebody intentionally without provocation. Anybody can see that there was at least reasonable provocation for him to use deadly force. Now, some people were saying he was the only one that shot. The sergeant testified that he would have shot the guy. He would have shot him if the person who shot him wasn't in the way. He was in the direct line of fire. So if he would have shot as well as the other guy, then he would end up shooting his partner. So that's the reason why nobody shot but the individual himself. Now, obviously, some people have heard and have seen the gun that was used in the shooting. On the ejection port, the cover plate, or whatever you call it, I always get the name of it mixed up. But on the ejection port, there's a dust cover. When you shoot around, before you ever shoot around, you should have the ejection port covered, right? You don't want to get dust and stuff into your gun. So when you fire the first shot, the ejection port open up for the rounds to be ejected out of the side. Now on the inside of the ejection port, it says you're effed, pretty much is what it says. Some people had a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. That's that man's personal rifle. If he want to put that on the inside of his rifle, he can do whatever he want to do. Is it distasteful? Yes. I wouldn't do that. Why? Because if I got into a shooting, I don't want people saying that to me and thinking I'm a maniac. But on your personal rifle, you can do whatever you want. Because to be honest, in real life, outside of police work, if somebody can see the inside of your dust cover, that means shots have already been fired. That man can write whatever he wants. Do I believe that he's a mass murderer? No. We have no indication. Do I believe that he probably had character issues? That's irrelevant to this shooting. The question is, when you go to court, is there beyond a reasonable doubt that he intentionally killed this individual without any provocation? There is beyond a reasonable doubt that kid reached back and it led a reasonable person to believe he could have been reaching for a gun, which then necessitated him to be shot. I want people to understand that. I want you to be able to see step by step, methodically, what police officers are thinking, what the call came out as, and why they responded the way they did. I honestly wish that there was different tactics as I sit here today in the comfort of this desk, not even responding to that call. I really wish that there was different tactics used. I wish that they had K9, they had everything else, but hindsight is 20/20. I really wish that kid would have never reached behind him, which ended up resulting in his death. Hindsight is 2020. If he could do it all over again, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have reached behind his back. Plain and simple. If he can do it all over again, I bet he wouldn't have gotten drunk and he wouldn't have been pointing a rifle, which would necessitate the police to be called on him in the first place. We can talk about hindsight all you want. The very bare principle of what went on is that did this person commit the crime as presented in court? Obviously, he did not. Police officers are justified under the law if there's a present danger associated with serious physical bodily harm and or death. They can utilize deadly force by whatever means, whether it's the handgun, whether it's the rifle, whether it's a knife, or they can even put you in a chokehold. Some people say chokehold has been banned in certain. No, if your life is in danger, you're going to choke them out. That's exactly what's going to happen. If you got a person in a chokehold and you can't get to their waistband and you know that they're trying to reach for a gun and you have leverage on one arm, you're going to choke them unconscious so that they don't kill you. That's exactly what's going to happen. So I just wanted to clarify those two things. I want to bring up those two very interesting points. Roy Moore, and we talked about this police shooting. We're going to take a quick break. Echo is going to tell you guys a little bit more about Patriot Depot, and then I'm going to have to get out of here. I'll be on the radio here soon, and we're going to probably talk about some similar issues like this on the radio. When we get back, I'll tell you what radio station I'm going to go on because I want you guys to go on and listen. Hold the phone.